So, what's going on, people? Um, in front of me is the gold chart. So, we rallied quite a bit here from roughly 1760 to almost 1800. So, we are here pretty much retesting the 200 EMA, and usually when that happens, we see some kind of pull down, at least unless we don't break immediately above it. So we had something similar going on here, where we didn't saw a push like we did here. Here we had a pretty bullish momentum, and thus we broke above. Here we stayed at the 200-day EMA again and pulled lower. So we did here. Here again we had a pretty bullish candlestick, and here as well. So we broke past the 200 EMA. But here, most of the times, once we saw this bearish move, which means the 200 EMA on the daily chart was above the 50. Every time we saw a retest without a bullish candlestick, we saw a pullback. So it seems like this is what will happen here again. Here we had a pretty bullish candlestick. This one was a little bit random because we saw a move above the 200 EMA, then we pulled lower, but the next day we rallied again. But so today the market is here. Well, we still have about 2 hours left, but it seems that we couldn't break above it today. So we might see, since tomorrow is Friday, a smaller movement like we saw here, and try to consolidate a little bit around this area. But then it is likely that we will see this pullback to around the 50-day EMA. So because usually if we suddenly see a momentum to the upside, which we saw here a couple of times, then the pullback is always a smaller one, like here and here. Here we had a pretty big one, but here we again had a smaller one. So this could happen here again, where we see maybe 15 to 20 pips, 10 to 20 pips going lower. So this is the movement that, or the target actually, and the trade that I would take. So we are here trying to slow down a bit, and if we add the CCI, this one here. So pretty much if we get rid of this here, so we saw here this trendline breakout, but usually when we see these big candlesticks on the gold chart, we see immediate pullback, like here and like here, and as well as, well, nothing to be found there. But usually we see a pullback, and if we don't, then we suddenly see a choppy movement, a consolidation pattern, which means we slow down. Here we had a pretty fast pullback here as well, and here we went a little bit higher, and then we saw a pullback. Here again, we saw this huge candlestick on the forward chart, and then a kind of consolidation where we pulled back a little bit lower. And this is what will happen here. So either kind of up and down a little bit, maybe a bigger move. So we had here a move after the highest point 1796, and the next one was 18, well, roughly 8, so about 5 4 5 4 4 5 pips. So if this was the highest point here, And if we go a little bit higher as we did here, so 1799.98, so roughly 805. So we could go a little bit further up if we see this pattern again. But initially, I think we will go and see a move to the downside, or we'll go here up and down, and then here. But initially, since here the stochastic and CCI are pretty high, but here we didn't break out of the 100, above 100, so we could still here see this movement to the 805 area. And here once we see a crossover and see a movement below the middle line, this is once we will head lower. So here on the 1 hour chart, we are starting to consolidate a little bit, but initially it looks like we will go lower. The 30-minute chart, if I get quickly rid of this. So on the 30-minute chart, we are actually forming here kind of a support line. And often when this happens, we can see a bullish move and thus go a little bit higher, which would be the 805 target, uh, which I mentioned earlier. So this is what could happen here. But once we break here, this red candlestick here, the last one, let me just um, quickly here. Once we break this candlestick, which is this area here, next target would obviously be somewhere around this candlestick and often a little bit lower. But as I said, we could here, as long as we stay here, form a bullish sign and go to the 805 area before falling down. So this was the analysis for gold. So thanks for watching.